glad you're here. My name is Ticola Spruill, founder of True North Life Design. And in this series, I'm sharing with you my wisdom curriculum for people who are ready to stop drifting and start living on purpose. For those of you who are trying to close the gap between the life you're living and the life you know you were built for, you're in the right place. If this is your first time here after watching this video, I invite you to go back and start from lesson 1 of the playlist. We're building something together in this playlist, and every lesson matters. You're going to want to get the full foundation. Subscribe, turn on your notifications, and share this with someone who needs it today. Now let's get into it. Most people are not lost because they lack ambition. They're not lost because they're lazy or broken or behind. They're lost because they're navigating from the wrong instrument. They're using other people's expectations as a compass. They're using fear as a map. They're using busyness as a substitute for direction. And they wonder why, after all the effort, all the striving, all the doing, they still feel somehow off course. Not dramatically off course, not obviously lost, just slightly misaligned, slightly hollow. Slightly like the life that they're living belongs to someone they're supposed to be rather than the someone they actually are. Today, we're going to talk about what True North actually is, not as an inspiring phrase or some motivational poster, but as a real living navigational reality that already exists inside of you and that you can learn to read. True North is a navigational term. In compass navigation, there are 2 norths. There is magnetic north, which is what most compasses point to, and then there's true north, the actual geographic North Pole, the fixed point, the one that doesn't shift based on where you're standing, what the terrain looks like, or what the weather is doing, right? Magnetic north moves. It drifts. It's influenced by the magnetic fields around it. Skilled navigators learn to account for the difference, what's called magnetic declination. Because if you follow magnetic north without correction, you'll end up somewhere other than where you're intended to go. So you'll be moving. You'll feel like you're moving in the right direction, but you'll be off. Sometimes a little, sometimes by a lot. Remember, all activity is not productivity. Most people are navigating their lives by magnetic north. They're following the pull of mainstream culture. Money, status, approval, comfort, security. And those things are not wrong, but they drift because they change. They change over the years. They shift depending on what's trending, what your family values, what your social circle rewards, right? What fear is loudest in any given season. True North does not drift. True North is the fixed point inside of you, the encoded blueprint, the specific design, the irreducible truth of who you are and what you're here to do. It doesn't move based on the economy. It doesn't change based on who approves of you. It doesn't navigate with trends or timelines. It simply is, and it's always pointing in the same direction. The question is whether you've learned to read it. There are 3 reasons most people never find their true north, and none of them are personal failures. They're systemic, they're almost universal, and naming them removes the shame from the experience. The first reason is noise. We live in the loudest era in human history. The volume of external input, social media, comparison, other people's opinions, cultural messaging, it's relentless. And True North speaks in a very quiet voice, not a weak voice, a certain one. It doesn't need to shout, but if you've never been taught to listen for it, the noise wins out by default. The second reason is conditioning. From childhood, most of us were trained to navigate by external feedback, from grades, approval, achievement, belonging. All of it has trained our nervous system to look outward for signals about whether we're on the right track. And so we become very skilled at reading other people's instruments and completely untrained at reading our own. Pause right there and sit with that one. How often you compare yourself to other people, reading someone else's instrument and not knowing how to read your own so that you can get the proper guidance from within. If this is resonating, hit that like button. What we're naming right now is something that has cost people years of their lives. I know it's cost me years of mine. Help the algorithm put this in front of someone who needs to hear this today. That one tap is a form of service. The third reason is fear. True North, when you finally locate it, often points somewhere that requires courage. It asks you to trust something you cannot yet prove, to move towards something you cannot fully explain, and sometimes you can't even see. And so many people, even people who have caught a glimpse of it, they step back, they rationalize, they settle. They call it wisdom when it's actually fear wearing wisdom's clothing. In life, supportive, patient, benevolent, and thoroughly unintimidated, just keeps on pointing through your life experiences. So how do you actually hear it? How does True North communicate with you in your actual life? It speaks in 4 languages. Learn these, write them down if you need to, because once you know them, you'll never be able to unhear them, and you will start finding evidence of your True North everywhere. It speaks through resonance, a deep bodily yes to something, not excitement, not fantasy, but a kind of recognition, like meeting something you've always known. When you encounter your True North direction, part of you doesn't feel surprised, it feels remembered. It speaks through persistent longing, the thing you keep coming back to, the dream that refuses to die no matter how many times you talk yourself out of it, the creative itch, the recurring vision. Persistent longing is not wishful thinking. It is encoded intelligence communicating through desire. It speaks through dissonance, the low, persistent discomfort of living out of alignment, the exhaustion that does not respond to rest, the sense that something is off even when everything looks fine on the outside. Dissonance is not a malfunction. It's your internal compass telling you that you're not pointed at True North, and it'll keep telling you until you listen. It speaks through aliveness. When you're moving in the direction of your True North, something in you wakes up. Your energy shifts, your creativity surfaces. You feel more like yourself than you have in years. That's not coincidence, that's orientation. Here's your practice before lesson 4. Find somewhere quiet, 5 minutes is enough, and ask yourself this one question. Write the answer down, whatever comes, without editing it. Be brutally honest with yourself. Where in my life do I feel most alive? And where do I feel most numb? Not most successful, not most productive, most alive and most numb. The alive places are breadcrumbs pointing toward your True North. The numb places are showing you where you've drifted. Both answers are useful. Both are data from your internal navigation system. Don't judge what comes up. Don't try to fix it. Just notice it honestly, right? Your compass is already working. This practice is simply you learning to read it. Here's what I want you to carry with you today. You're not navigating without a compass. You've never been without one. You came equipped with the most sophisticated internal navigation system ever designed. The issue was never the instrument. The issue was that no one taught you how to read it. That changes right now. In lesson 4, we're going to go deeper into the most important distinction in this entire curriculum, the difference between living and aliveness. And I promise you, once you understand that distinction, you will never unsee it. It will permanently change the way you read your own life. You don't want to miss that one. Subscribe if you have not already. Turn on your notifications. Share this with someone who you know is moving but feels off course. That's the person this lesson was made for. And leave a comment. Tell me, which one of the 4 languages does your True North speak to you the most through? Resonance, longing, dissonance, or aliveness? I want to know. Until next time, keep moving toward your True North. You are not lost. You are a person with a fixed point inside inside of you who simply had not yet been given the language to find it. Now you have it. I'll see you in lesson 4.